Our topic is Fayol's Principles of Management. Fayol's Principles of Management. Background and history of Fayol. Henry Fayol was born in Turkey in 1841. He got degree in the mining engineering in 1860 and started working as engineer in a coal mining company. In 1888, he was promoted as the managing director of the company. At that time, the company was in situation of insolvency. He accepted the challenge and applied his managerial techniques to bring out the company from his situation, and he succeeded. When he retired after 30 years, the company was a leading coal steel company with a strong financial background. So this is the background of Fayol's history of Fayol. So Henry Fayol was born in Turkey. Born in which country? Turkey. In which year? 1841. He got degree in mining. He got degree in mining engineering in which year? 1860. 1860. And started working as engineer in a coal mining company. Which company? Coal mining. In 1888, he was promoted. In 1888, he was promoted as the mining managing director of the company. In a very early age, he became the managing director of the company. At that time, the company was in the situation of the insolvency. He accepted the challenge and applied his managerial techniques. It means he accepted the challenge and applied his managerial techniques to bring out the company from this situation, and he succeeded. That means at that time company was in a situation in insolvency. Insolvency means very poor condition. Very poor condition. Then Henry Fayol has been accepted the challenge and to bring out the company from this situational, and he succeeded. When he retired after 30 years, the company was a leading coal steel company with a strong financial background. Now the major contribution of Fayol. Henry Fayol became famous as father of management. Father of management studies and thoughts because of the following contribution. Number 1, he made clear distinction between technical and managerial skills. He made clear distinctions between technical and managerial skill. Number 2, he identified the main steps in the process of management. Steps in the process of management which are considered the major functions of management: planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and last one is controlling. He had been identified the main steps in the process of management. Process of management, the main functions will become here: planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and last one is controlling. And he developed 14 principle. 14 principle, it is very important. 14 principles of management which act as guidelines for managers to perform managerial activities. Now we can see one by one 14 principles of management by given Henry Fayol. Number 1, division of work. Division of work. What is division of work? According to this principle, the whole work must be divided into small tasks or units, and instead of assigning the whole work to one person, one task or unit of work should be assigned to one person according to the capability, qualification, and experience of the person. When a person is performing a part of a job, again and again he will become perfect and specialized in doing that, and efficiency level will improve. It means according to their qualification, according to their experience, and according to their performing a part of job again and again, he will become perfect. He will become perfect and specialized in doing that, and efficiency level will improve. Fayol said, not only the factory work but technical, managerial, and skill jobs should also be divided into the small segment for specialization. In bank, one person is receiving cash, example, one is giving cash, one is making entry in the passbook, one is giving loan, and one is doing FD account, etc. So work is divided and bank operates efficiency. Now the positive effects of principles of division of work. Number 1, specialization. What is specialization? Whenever work is divided according to the qualification, then automatically it leads to specialization. Whenever work is divided according to the qualification, then automatically it leads to the specialization. Number 2, improve efficiency. When employee is performing only one part of job, then he become expert in that and results is less wastage of resources. Whenever the employee is performing well only one part of job, then he becomes expert in that and results in less wastage of resources. Now the consequences of violation of this principle. Number 1, lack of efficiency. Number 2, there will be no specialization, and number 3, chances of duplication of work. So these are the consequences of violation of this principle. Violations, that means not good. Violations of this principle. Lack of efficiency. First, lack of efficiency. Number 2, there will be no specialization. And last one is chances of duplication of work. The next is authority and responsibility. It is very important. Authority means power. To take decisions. Responsibility means obligation. Your meaning has clear given. Authority means power to take decisions, but responsibility means obligation to complete the job assigned on time. According to this principle, there must be balance or parity between the authority and responsibility. Excess of authority without matching responsibility may bring negative results, and excess of responsibility without matching authority will not allow the worker to complete his job on time. So here is given authority means power and responsibility means obligation to complete the job assigned on time. According to this principle, there must be balance or parity between the authority and responsibility. Excess of authority. If excess of authority without matching responsibility may bring negative result, and excess of responsibility without matching authority will not allow the worker to complete his job on time. So an organization should build safeguard against misuse or abuse of managerial power. A manager should have the right to punish the subordinate for willfully not owing a legitimate legitimate order, but only after sufficient opportunity has been given to a subordinate for giving his or her argument. For example, if a person is given responsibility to produce 100 units in 1 week time, but he is not given authority to purchase the raw materials. If there is no raw material available in the storeroom, as a result, he could not complete the target of producing 100 units on time. The worker cannot be blamed for not completing on time because he was given only the responsibility and not the matching authority to carry on the work. Excess of responsibility with less authority results in the non-completion of job. Now, what are the positive effect of this principle? Number 1, no misuse of authority. Number 2, helps in meeting responsibilities on time without any delay. And consequences of violation of this principle, if you not follow this principle, then what result may become out? Number 1, delay in work and or in completion of work due to less authority. Number 2, misuse of authority due to excess authority and overburden with work with excess responsibility. So according to this principle, authority and responsibility both are very necessary, and equalization. So all the managers should be provided equalization of authority and responsibility. The next one is discipline. Discipline refer to following code of conduct, rules, regulations of employment agreement. Following code of conduct, rules, regulations of employment agreement. Good superior at all levels. Third number, clear and fair agreement among the subordinate and superior. Meeting commitment at all levels. Judicious application of penalties. So Fayol insists that discipline is required. Discipline is required at superior as well as subordinate level. Disciplinary rules shall not be applicable only on subordinates, but discipline requires good superior at every level. Clear and fair agreement between superior and subordinate, and judicial application of penalties. For example, the employees must honor their commitments toward the organization by working effectively or efficiently. On the other hand, superior must not have the not superior must have meet the commitments by meeting their promises of increments, promotions, wages revision, etc. So what is the benefit of this principle? Number 1, systematic working in the organization. Discipline. If discipline in the organization, then work will be in a systematic order. And number 2, improves efficiency. If discipline is required, if discipline is maintained in the organization, then improve the efficiency of the workers and in the organization. Now the consequences of violation of this principle. If anyone not follow this principle, then what will be done? Number 1, disorder, confusion and chaos, and wastage of resources in the absence of discipline, delay in work due to the absence of rules and regulations. So if any persons, if any managers, if any workers do not have the discipline, then very suffer loss in the organization, and it may be harm the organizations, and it will suffer for a longer period time. The next one is unity of command. Unity of command. According to this principle, an employee should receive orders from one boss superior, and should be accountable to one superior. Only because if he is receiving orders from the more than one boss, then he will get confused and will not be able to understand that whose order must be executed first. This is a very complicated problem. Unity of command. According to this principle, an employee should receive orders from one boss order, and should not be accountable to one superior. Only because if he is receiving orders from more than one boss, then he will get confused and will not be able to understand that whose order must be executed first. For example, if employee of production department is asked to go slow in production to maintain quality, slow but maintain quality standard by the production in charge, and sales in charge instruct the employee to fasten the production. That means from one side it is the decisions has come, you please slow production and good quality, but in another hand the instruction has come employees to fasten the production to meet the pending orders. In this situation, employee will get confused as to whose instruction must be followed by him. So, what is the positive effect of this principle? Number one, no confusion in the mid of subordinate, no ego clashes, and improves effectiveness in the working. And violation of this principle will lead to the following consequences. Number one, confusion in the mind of employee. Confusion in the mind of employee because two persons, two managers, two bosses are giving orders. So whose order I will get prefer? So it's problem, confusion. Number two, subordinate will get chance to escape from his responsibilities by giving excuses. Ego clashes among the different superiors. And last one is difficulty in maintaining discipline in the organization. Difficulty in maintaining discipline in the organization. So unity of command is order has come in the two-sided. So whose work I will get prefer? I will get prefer, and whose work I will do, it's problem. It's a problem giving. So this is the problem of unity of command. The next one is unity of direction. Unity of direction. According to this principle, one unit means one plan. One unit means one plan. That is the effect of all the members and employees of organization must be directed toward one direction, that is the achievement of common goal. If this principle is applied, it leads to coordination. Each department and a group having common objective must have one head and one plan only. For example, if an organization is producing different lines of products, cosmetic, medicines, and confectionery items. Confectionery item means like sweets. Each product has its own market and its own business environment. is division must plan, it's the target, and every employee of that division must put his efforts toward the achievement of plan of their division under the direction of the head only. On no account should be working on different departments overlap. It means unity of directions means one unit, means one plan, not another plan. It is the effect of all the members and employees of organization must be directed toward the one direction only. We will not do all the directions. If we will get one direction, then we will success. But if we have many targets, so we can't get success. So what are the positive impact of this principle? Number one, achievement of the organization goal. Efforts of all the employees get unified towards one direction only. Now, consequences of these violations, this principle. Number one, lack of coordination. Lack of coordination, wastage of efforts and resources by working in different directions. Difficulty in achieving organizational goal. Now, one thing is very important, the difference between principles of unity of command and principle of unity of direction. What are the most different things? Number one, principle insist on one boss on one subordinate, but this direction is unity of direction means the principle insists on one unit division on one plan. Here given one boss and here given one unit or division on one plan. Number two, the main purpose of unity of command is to avoid confusion and mix up responsibility on the employee. The main purpose of unity of command is to avoid confusion and mix up responsibility on the employee. But unity of directions means the purpose of unity. The purpose of unity of direction is to direct the efforts of the employees of one department in achieving the main objective of the department. That means if we have only one direction, then we will get good result, but we have many directions, so we can't get the good result. Number third, the principle is related to functioning of employees with the clarity in mind. Clarity in mind. Principles of unity. Principles of unity of command is related to the functioning of employees. Functioning of employees with the clarity in mind. But unity of direction has given the principle is related to the functioning of organization. Functioning of organization as a whole or as a one unit. That means we will take only one unit or as a whole, then it is a good and our result will better prior. And the principle results in the systematic working and improves efficiency by removing confusion and chaotic conditions. Here unity of command, like many persons you are giving direction, many persons giving command, you will do this work, you will do this work, so you have confusion in your mind, which work I will get prefer, which work I will give prefer, and whose work first I complete. So you have creating in mind, and here principle results in the coordination of the activities of different personnels. Now the next principle is number 6, subordination of individual interest to general interest. subordination of individual interest to general interest. You will not take only one your interest, it will the public interest. According to this principle, the interest of organization must supersede supersede the interest of individuals of employees in the organization. All the employees are working with some objective, and there is always an objective of organization. If the objectives of individual are in the same direction of the organization, then there is no problem. But if the objectives of the both the groups are in the different directions, then managers must try to reconcile individual interest with organizational goal. And if there is not possible, then individual goal must be sacrificed for achieving organizational goal. The managers must take all the decisions in the organization by giving priority to the organizationals, not personal priority. Here giving organizational priority and interest, and not his the personal interest. The manager can ensure this by his exemplary behavior, by not misusing the authority for personal favors. For example, before buying raw material, the manager must compare the prices and qualities of all the suppliers and give order to best rather than giving order to his own relative by misusing his power. So these are the quality before buying raw material. The manager must compare the prices and qualities of all the suppliers and give order to best rather than giving order to his own relative by misusing his power. Now, what are the positive impact of this principle? Number 1, achievement of the organizational goal. Number 2, coordination between individual and organizational goal. And the last one is consequences of violation of this principle. Number 1, no achievement of organizational goal. Number 2, even employees will also suffer in long run. Even employees will also suffer in long run. Now we come to the next 7th principle, remuneration of persons. Remuneration of persons. What is this? Remuneration means wages, salary or money. According to this principle, employees in the organization must be paid fairly or adequately to give them maximum satisfaction. The employees should be paid fair wages and salaries which would give at least at reasonable standard of living. At same time, it should be with the paying capacity of the company. The fair wages is the determined according to number 1, financial capacity of the concern. Financial capacity of the concern. Number 2, by keeping in mind the minimum wage act of government. Minimum wages act of government. And third one is the wages and salaries paid by the competitors. For example, if in a particular year the organizations has earned more profit than, apart from giving extra profit to the shareholders and owners, apart from the extra profit to the shareholders and owners, some part of the profit must be given to employees also in the form of bonus. This will encourage and motivate to put more efforts and increase the profit of the company. Now what are the positive impact of this principle? Number 1, employees get motivated Number one, employees get motivated, and number two, devotion and commitment of employees improves. Now, what are the consequences of violation of this principle? Increase in turnover of employees and dissatisfaction and demotivations of employees. Demotivate, demotivate of employees. If any organizations, if any firm is not giving fair and truly wages and salary to the workers, then how he can do the work? How he will complete the target? Because he is doing the work for his the salary, wages or money. So dissatisfaction and demotivation of employees, an increase in turnover of employees. All the employees will be turnover, that means change the work, leave the site, leave the firm due to the less wages or salary given by the organization. So it is very important to give adequate and fairly wages to the employees at their work cost. Next is number 8, centralization and decentralization. Centralization refers to the concentration of authority or power in few hands at the top level. Decentralization means evenly distribution of power at every level of management. It means centralization and decentralization. Centralization refers to concentration of authority or power in few hands at the top level, and decentralization means evenly distribution of power at every level of management. So according to Fayol, a company must not be completely centralized or completely decentralized, but there must be combination of both depending upon the nature and size of the organization. A small organization can be well organized and managed with the centralized techniques, but in large organization there is need for centralization, decentralization. Secondly, if employees are efficient and competent, then they can be trusted by having decentralization. But if employees are not fully developed and are less in number, then there must be centralization. Fayol advised not to have complete centralization or complete decentralization, but a combination of both are very important. Like panchayat in our country, like example, panchayat in our country have been given more powers to decide or spend fund granted to them by the government for welfare of villagers. This is centralization at national level. This is decentralization, not centralization, decentralization at national level. So positive effect of this principle: number 1, benefits of centralization as well as decentralization, and fast decisions at operational level and strict control by the top level. And what are the consequences of violation of this principle? Complete centralization will result in delay in decisions, and complete decentralization will result in misuse of authority. If you will misuse the authority, then it will be harm. Now the difference between centralization and decentralization, what is this? So it refers to the concentration of power or authority at the higher level only. Centralization, central, that means higher authority, and it refers to the average distribution of power and authority at the every level of the management. And centralization, top management retains maximum authority. The authority with the middle and lower management is very low. Top management retains maximum authority, and the authority with the middle and lower management is very low. Now the decentralization, the authority is systematically divided at the every level. Systematically it is divided, but it is not systematically. It is the maximum authority, and authority with the middle and lower level is very low. Now the next one is number 9, principle of scalar chain. It is very very important. As you know, here the scalar chain means line of authority. Scalar chain means line of authority or chain of the superior from higher to lower rank. Fayol insists that this chain must be followed strictly in the organization. Every information must pass through every key of this chain. No skipping of the one key should be allowed. Figure example with this discipline principle. According to this scalar chain principle, if E wants to contact O, if you can see here, E wants to contact O, so which category he will? So E to D, then E to D, then C, then B, then A, then L, then M, then N, then O. E will contact with D, D contact with C, C contact with B, B contact with A contact with L, L contact with N, N contact with M, N, and O last. Now he is contacting. Suppose that you want to meet with chief minister. So directly you can meet with the chief minister? No. You will go through the process. To meet with the CM, chief ministers of any states like Jharkhand, Bihar, and any more. So if this chain is broken, then there are chances of communication gap in the organization. But sometimes following scalar chain becomes a longer process, and if some important information has to be passed, it gets delayed. So in case of emergency and urgent information, Fayol permitted a shortcut in the chain which is known as gangplank. Gangplank means shortcut way. Gangplank permits direct communication between the employees working in different position without following the scalar chain. For example, if E wants to pass some urgent information to O, then instead of following the long route of scalar chain, he will directly communicate, not with the process. Like see here, E want to direct share with some information with O, so he will break the chain, and it is a gangplank. It is known as a gangplank. Communicate with O by constructing a gangplank. Generally, workers cannot directly communicate with the CEO, but through gangplank it is possible. So now the positive effect of this principle. Number 1, systematic flow of information. Number 2, no communication gap in the organization. And consequences of violation of this principle. Number 1, there may be communication gap, and number 2, no clarity in the authority responsibility relationship. No clarity in authority and responsibility relationship. The next principle is principle of order. It is very common and we generally use in many ways. You can see here in this principle, order does not mean command, but it refers to the orderly arrangement of men and material that is a fixed place for everything and everyone in the organization. Fayol insists that there must be a fixed place to keep every material and thing used in the organization and fixed place, so sheet used so seat or cabin for every employee of the organization, so that no time or the energy is wasted in the search of any material or any persons. Suppose that you want to go for a ration shop to buy something like soap, detergent and many more. So the shopkeeper gives quickly. He will not search. He, whatever you want, you say and he quickly give to you. So this is the principle of order. Principle of order. For example, if a worker is in need of a tool, he must know in which box or tool room will be founded, and if he needs guidance from superior, he must know the fixed cabin of supervisor. If no fixed place is given, then worker will waste his time and energy in search for the tools or the supervisor. Now the positive effect of this principle: no wastage of time in the search of men or the material, and the smooth and the systematic working of organization. Now consequences of violation of this principle: number 1, wastage of time and energy in search of men and material, and not able to contact the people at the right time. Sometime it is not finding, so it is a problem giving. The next one is principle of equity. Principle of equity. Equity refer to kind, fair and just treatment to employees. Employees will put their maximum efforts only when they are treated with the kindness and justice. If a manager is biased in dealing with the employees, then employees will get dissatisfied and will not contribute to their maximum capacity. Equity does not mean equal salary to the peon or the superior, but equity means application of same disciplinary rules, leave rules in the same way, irrespective of their grade, position and gender. Equity means no discrimination on account of sex, religion, language, caste, belief or nationality. Example, in multinational companies, people of various nationalities work together without any discrimination, as we find a person of Indian origin, Sundar Pichai, became CEO of Google. Sunil Sood became the CEO of Vodafone. Yes. So here is no discrimination, equity. Next is positive effect of this principle. Employees get satisfied and motivate the employees and boost up the morale of this employees. Now the consequences of violation of this principle: dissatisfaction in the employees, increase in turnover, and unhealthy relation between superior and subordinate. So here is 3 violation of this principle. First is dissatisfaction in employees. Number 2, increase in turnover. And last one is unhealthy relation between superior and subordinate. The next principle is stability of tenure of personnel. It refers to no frequent termination and transfer. According to this principle, the management must provide the feeling of job security among the employees, because with the feeling of insecurity for the job, the employees cannot contribute their maximum. Frequent turnover of employees is bad for organization, and such decisions must be taken when they are almost unavoidable. Unavoidable. That means it refers to no frequent termination and transfer. According to this principle, the management must provide the feeling of job security among the employees, because with the feeling of insecurity for the job, the employees cannot contribute their maximum. Frequent turnover of employees is bad for the organization, and such decisions must be taken when they are almost unavoidable. Not only turnover, but frequent transfer or rotation. Frequent transfer or rotation should also be avoided because it takes some time to the person to learn and get settled on a job, and by the time he gets settled and he receives transfer order, then it will be wastage of resources, and employee will not be able to contribute his best for organization. Stability of tenure for personnel. That means the organizations, the employees of the organization not be transferable. It will be longer time. It will be adjusted. Then it is possible the running of organizations, and it gets maximum benefit in the future. What are the positive effect of this principle? Number 1, improves efficiency level of employees. Number 2, no wastage of time and resources. No wastage of time and resources, and improves efficiency level of employees. And consequences of violation of this principle: number 1, wastage of resources in learning the new job, and frustration and dissatisfaction among the employees, because all the times the workplace will be changed, so the all workers employees are dissatisfied with their job. This is the 12. Now 13 number. Now we come to the 13 number, where it is here. Initiative. Number 13 is initiative refer to taking the first step with the self motivation. Fayol suggested that employees in the organization must be given an opportunity to take some initiative in making and executing a plan. It gives immense satisfaction to employees, so managers must welcome the suggestion and ideas of employees before framing the plan. The initiative does not mean disobedience, that is, once decisions are taken by management, then every employee must follow it, whether it is according to the employee's suggestion or not. It means initiative means refer to taking the first step with the self motivation. And Fayol suggested that employees in the organization must be given an opportunity to take some initiative in making and executing the plan. It gives immense satisfaction to the employees, so managers must welcome the suggestions and ideas of employees before framing the plan. And the initiative does not mean disobedience, that is, once decisions are taken by management, then every employee must follow it, whether it is according to the employee's suggestion or not. Now, for example, before setting up of the plan, the manager must welcome the suggestion and ideas of employees to allow their maximum participation. But once the plan is made, every employee must follow it and implement it. So what are the positive effect of this principle? Number 1, develops feeling of belongingness in the employees, and employees achieve the target on time if they are set up with their consultation. And Two demerit points violation of this principle. Number one, employees will not work to the best of their ability, and demotivation among the employees. So these are the initiative. This is the 14th and this is the last principles of management by Henry Fayol. It is spirit de corps. Management must encourage and promote team spirit, unity and harmony. This will bring coordination and cooperation in organization. A manager should replace with we. This will give rise to mutual trust and belongingness among team members, will minimize the need for using penalties. Management must encourage and promote the team spirit. That means team spirit, not individual. Team spirit and utility and harmony. With this bring coordination and cooperation in the organization. A manager should replace with we, not I. This will give rise to mutual trust and belongingness among team members, will minimize the need for using penalties. For example, if the production manager assigned a target of manufacturing of 100 units, group of 10 members divided the target among themselves to produce 10 units. Each principle of team spirit says that each member of the group should not concentrate only achieving his individual target of 10 units, but they must concrete on achieving group target of 100 units. So if two workers of that group fall sick, then the other 8 members must divide their individual target and among themselves and try to achieve the target of the group. That means 2 persons are fall sick, so other members are maintain their work and to complete the target. So what are the benefit of this? Number 1, develops team spirit, and number 2, achieving of goal group. And now the consequences of violation of this principle: team goal may not be achieved, and no team spirit, and more stress on individualism. That means spirit de corps tell us we will do the work, not I will do the work. We will do, that means in the grouping we will together with and do the work. If someone have suffering from anything, so another members will cooperate and complete the task. Okay, thanks for watching this video.